From Field Pass Hockey Southern Command, this is the Inside the SPHL podcast. Here is your host, James Hayes.
Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the SPHL. I can't believe you guys have stuck around for episode number 16. So this week is it's a big episode. I actually got a couple of guests on. We're going to do our little normal talk through the league, and it's going to be a great episode. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So we're going to jump right into it with the first guest, and he's got quite the resume in his background. He's a Langley, British Columbia native. He's done a lot in the SPHL, but he played D1 hockey with Umass. He was the NCAA Hockey East champion one year there. Came into the SPHL, took it by storm, made the all-rookie team, first all-star team. He had the most assists, most points, most valuable player, rookie of the year. I mean, you name it, he was there. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring to you Evansville Thunderbolt superstar, Austin Plevy. Austin, how's it going, man?
Well, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. So it's always nice to be able to chat. And I know the Evansville fans out there are going to be happy. I've been telling them that I was going to get a player on. I'm going to get a player on, and it just hasn't worked out up until now. So hopefully that fan base doesn't think I'm a liar anymore.
No, for sure. No, they'll be happy for sure. No, they're a pretty solid fan base, definitely passionate, but they'll definitely be happy.
Yeah, good deal. So let's jump right into it, man. I mean, growing up in British Columbia in Western Canada, that's a different kind of Canada than what a lot of people hear about. When people think Canada, they think, the Ontario and all that, and they forget there's hockey all across the country. And sure. So yeah. I mean, did you basically, were you born with skates on your feet like every other Canadian?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't want to be that stereotypical Canadian story, but I had an uncle who was a power skating coach. So yeah, pretty much the time I could walk, I was in skates. He owned a rink, so I was there pretty much every day, before school, after school. I just found a love for it. I played a lot of other sports growing up, but hockey was kind of my passion, and it's taken me pretty far and taken me a lot of places. So I'm glad I went with it.
Yeah, definitely. Did you play lacrosse or anything? I always hear about that. That's Canada's national sport, but I've never seen Canadian lacrosse. But they don't televise that in the States.
It's box lacrosse, so it's not like the American field lacrosse. So pretty much, you take an ice rink, a hockey arena, you take the ice out, you got the concrete underneath it, you lay turf on top of it, and you play lacrosse 5-on-5.
I gotcha.
It's an awesome sport. I played it my whole life till I was 16. And then I had the lacrosse or the hockey. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that I couldn't get a scholarship to play box lacrosse in America, because they only play field lacrosse in the US, I probably might have chosen lacrosse. I really enjoyed lacrosse, but because the scholarship opportunities and the professional opportunities weren't as good for lacrosse, I figured hockey was a better route to get me to school. So that's what I went with, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've only been in the league for a few years, and it seems like it's been going really good. You had a great college career and everything, but we're gonna jump back a little bit, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about your juniors, and we'll get into how you played with a name that a lot of people might know, but we're not going to jump right into that right now. Okay. So you played in the BCHL, and you played with what, 3 different teams, and I mean, I was looking at your numbers, and I'm looking at them right now, and it looks like you had a pretty good career there. Kind of tell me about that. Tell me about going and playing for Langley. That's your hometown. A lot of guys don't get to play in their hometown. Just kind of walk me through how that all fell into place.
Yeah, obviously I was very, very lucky to play in my hometown. Growing up in Langley. Watching the team. We actually used to billet players growing up as well. So I grew up around the team. Then I got an opportunity to play for them, which was great. I lived at home. I lived 5 minutes from the rink with my family. So that was awesome. And then after my first year, I decided I need to get it away a little bit. I don't think my mom liked that one too much, but I actually moved into a billet house in Langley that was about 2 blocks from my parents' house. So I was like away from home, but not too far away. But it was a nice kind of transition because I was away. If I needed my own space or do what I needed to do, I could. But if also I missed mom's cooking, I could go home on Sunday for dinner. So that was nice. So that was my first 2 years. And then I went to Chilliwack, which is about an hour away. So again, like away, but not too far. And then, yeah, that turned out to be an incredible year playing for the Chilliwack Chiefs. Two probably my best buddies I made there. I still talk to them almost every day. So yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then from there, you went and played in the Alberta Junior League, and you played with the Brooks Bandits. And tell me about that. That a lot of people know about the Brooks Bandits. That's well, a lot of people in Canada know about all these, but we're going to talk about the American listeners here that don't know. That's a name that might ring a bell with some people because there was somebody else that you might have played with there that that they're like, oh yeah, but what was how did that go? I know you switched season, or you switched teams halfway through the 13-14 season and ended up in Brooks. How did that come about?
So the team I was playing for, we weren't doing great, and I was probably in my last year of juniors. So I wanted to get traded to a team that had a chance to win. And my coach, obviously, he wanted to get some assets back for me to keep building for in the future. And I thought I was going to stay in the BC. I had absolutely no idea I was going to be traded to Alberta. To be honest, I didn't know anything about the league. I thought I was going to be going somewhere up north in the interior. My coach brought me in and told me I was going to Brooks. And my first thought was, well, I have no idea where that is, one. And two, it was in the Alberta League. And growing up in BC, you don't think too much of that league. My eyes were open very quick playing there. I wish I played there longer because it developed me into a really good, strong player. But yeah, no, I got traded there, and I'll never forget it. I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I got traded to Alberta. Like, what am I going to do? Like, do I quit? Like, do I refuse to go? And he's like, no, give it a chance. We'll go there. So I went out there with my parents. It's about 2.5 hours from the next big city on an empty Alberta highway with nothing but cornfields for 100 miles. And I get to this little town of, I think it's like 9,000 people. And I just like complete culture shock, right? Because I grew up on the West Coast, 10 minutes from the ocean, big city. Yeah. And then I go here, this little farm town, and there's one strip, and I think there might have been 3 or 4 restaurants on it, and 3 of them were Tim Hortons. So it was just, it was such a culture shock. We got to the rink, I got with the guys, the coach, practiced, loved it, and skated with them. And then obviously stuck around, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. I absolutely loved playing in Brooks. Great city. You're pretty much an NHL team there. I mean, you're the only thing in town, and they sell out the rink, like 3,000-4,000 people.
Nice.
Great fans. They take care. Like the billets are incredible. They treat you so well. And yeah, it was great. And like I said about the Alberta League, growing up in BC, you kind of don't really know it. Rougher and a lot tougher. You know, you get the big Alberta boys that grew up on the farm, and it definitely toughened me up and got me more ready for the college game and professional game. So looking back at it, I'm definitely thankful I got to play in that league. And if anyone ever had the chance, I would definitely recommend they play a year or 2 in that league, because there's probably a couple scars on my face not be able to see them from that league, but definitely toughens you.
That's awesome. So a little more physical than what you were used to is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the BC is more of like a skill kind of finesse league. You don't get hit too much. And then I learned pretty quick in my first couple Alberta games that, I was going to have to adjust my style of play a little bit. But like I said, it got me more ready for the college game, because that's what the college and pro game is. So,
yeah. Was the college game, was it as physical as playing in the Alberta League, or?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think Hockey East is a tough conference, lots of good teams. And you play in some smaller rinks, and, you know, you go there as a 20-year-old and you got some seniors that are 24, 25 years old that have been working out in college weight rooms for 3-4 years. So they're almost full grown men at that point. So I think going to Alberta definitely got me more ready for that. It was obviously still a tough learning curve, but Hockey East Division I is definitely obviously lots of skill, but you got to find that fine line, because there's some big boys that'll take your head off if you're not careful.
Yeah, definitely. What was the decision kind of jumping forward into going to play college hockey in the States? I mean, what was that decision process? Was that something you kind of had planned all along, or?
Yeah, so I think I was just lucky with the people I grew up around. Obviously, in Western Canada, playing in the Western Hockey League is a huge thing. Like most of the kids I grew up with went down that road. Um, and I don't know for the people that might not be familiar with how it works, but if you play in that league, or even if you sign a contract in that league at 15, you can't go and play in the NCAA. So I was lucky I had people around me, advisor, coach, dad, who was like, nah, man, like you got to go to school. Like no matter what happens, at least you go to school, and you go to school for free in the US. So at 15, that was kind of a tough pill to swallow, because you look at your friends and they're playing the Western League and this and that, and, they're making a little money on the side, and you're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
School, like I'm done with school. But yeah, no, they definitely pushed me in that direction. And then obviously playing junior and ended up at school. And yeah, anyone asks for advice, kids, anyone I talk to, I tell them, go to school, get your school paid for. It's the best thing you can do for you. So
Yeah, definitely. That's great advice. A lot of people, like you're saying, I mean, a lot of people don't make it to the next level, and
right.
you're seeing them play, in the Western League, and I mean, even down here in the States, you see guys playing in these junior leagues, and then that's it, and
Yeah.
and they could have probably gotten a full ride somewhere, but no,
Yeah.
was UMass your number one pick, or what were your kind of options you were looking at?
So, well, not to sound arrogant, but I had a couple options. I kind of had an interesting story. I was originally committed to Merrimack College, a small school just outside of Boston, Division I Hockey East. And I committed there when I was 16. I was pretty young, and I was there on a visit with my family, and they offered me a full scholarship. And I think my dad pretty much accepted it for me, because at 16, you never know. Like I didn't know I was going to turn out to be a decent player, right? It was like, okay, here's a free 4-year education, and I think he signed for me pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I jumped at opportunity, right? Okay, full ride scholarship, boom, it's exactly what we want, right? So I was committed there for a couple of years, and then kind of as I grew up, checked out the school a little more. I just didn't feel like it was the right place for me. So I ended up transferring. I ended up decommitting from there and going to Umass, and that was mostly just the coaching staff. The campus at Umass is a pretty big school. It was a lot of fun. They have a nice rink there. And the coaches there just seemed like guys I wanted to play with and play for. So that's how I ended up at Umass. It's just one of those things where you kind of get to campus and you talk to coach, and you just kind of get that vibe. You kind of say, okay, this is the spot that I want to be at. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I imagine UMass was more than welcoming you. I mean, your last year playing for Brooks, you had 92 points. I mean, that's a lot of points. So,
yeah, it was a good year for sure. I had one of my best buddies there, and we got to play together, and yeah, that was that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet. So at UMass, since I've kind of been leading on my 4 listeners, you played with a name everybody should know in Cale Makar. I mean, and you also played with him at Brooks. So let's jump back to Brooks for a minute and tell me about whenever you first started playing with him down there, or I guess over there, up there, whatever direction we want to call it.
Yeah, I could probably remember the day he walked into the locker room. He was 15. So you're a call up technically. So you wear a cage, you don't wear the half shield. And he walked in the room at 15, rosy cheeked, skinny, looked like he was 9. And I was like, is this guy like, you heard he's a decent player. And like, there's no way this guy's going to be able to compete like with the big 19, 20-year-olds. Right. And boy, was I was wrong. He was up for the playoffs, and he was our best player, probably by far, as a 15-year-old. Came into the league. I think he might have led our team in points in the playoffs. Like, it was incredible. And at that point, you're like, okay, yeah, once this guy plays a couple of years, gets to college, and puts on some weight, and yeah, he's gonna be a star for sure. So
Yeah, and it's funny, he still has those same rosy cheeks today.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What about UMass? Did you got to UMass before he did, right?
Yeah, so I think I was a sophomore when he was a freshman. So yeah, or maybe I was a junior because I left my last year. But yeah, he came in, same thing. Obviously, he'd grown a little bit taller, and then obviously he had the skill, and you saw it in his first year, and then his second year he really took over. Obviously, he won the Hobie that year. So yeah, just a special player, and like I said, very, very quiet, very down to earth. Like no ounce of arrogance in him at all. It's pretty incredible, and obviously you get him on the ice, and he's an incredible hockey player. So that was pretty cool. that'll definitely be a story. I tell my kids that I get to get on the ice with him, even though he used to make me look stupid out there, but I was still out there. So.
Yeah, he does that to everybody, so you can't feel bad about that.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I tell myself, make myself feel better. Yeah.
I mean, Kirby Doc's still having nightmares about that one a couple weeks back.
Yeah, he didn't do it to me in front of an arena full of 20,000 people. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, so my last question, and then we'll move back on to you because this isn't the Cale Makar podcast. But so you don't really see any emotion from Cale, when you're watching him on TV or anything. And I mean, does he really not have any emotion out there on the ice? Is he just like stone cold out there, business
that's
only?
What makes him so special is he definitely has emotion. Don't get me wrong. Like he was one of the hardest workers, and I think that's what makes him so great. He's passionate for the game, but I think he just doesn't let anything get to him, no matter what happens. Like he's just, like you said, very like stone face, no matter up, down. And he does get that look in his eyes sometimes. I think when someone pisses him off a little bit, he kind of gets that look in his eyes, almost like Joe Burrow had the other day, like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
But I think, and again, that's like one of those things that just makes him so good. He's able to like keep it even keel, not get too high, not get too low, and just go out there and do what he does. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, so we can move on from that because I'm sure you don't want to spend all day talking about that. So you as you said, you transferred to Northeastern your last year. What was that? Why did you do that? I guess that's the easy way to ask my question. What was the decision there?
So what happened after I think it was after my freshman year, there's a coaching change at Umass. So the new coach, Greg Carville, took over. So I played for him for 2 years. And then come my senior year, just didn't look like I was going to be part of their plan for that year. The first 2 years, he brought in a lot of new guys. A lot of the old guys had been out. I think only one guy from my freshman class made it through of 11 guys.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, I understand you get a new coach. You're going to bring things. Obviously it worked. They won the national championship a couple years later. But yeah, just my senior year, it didn't look like I was going to be in the picture. He was honest with me, told me I wasn't probably going to play that much. And I was lucky that I had enough credits to transfer without having to sit out a year. So I got to do a grad transfer to Northeastern and do grad school there. Same thing, full scholarship again. And it turned out to be, again, one of the best things. I absolutely loved it there. I mean, the school is in downtown Boston. You play there. It's a great campus. I was doing grad school. Got to play in the Bean Pot in front of 20,000 people at TD Garden. And then same thing, the Hockey East Championship. And we were fortunate enough to win both. So it was cool to be a part of a team. I played every game that year. I was like a third, fourth line guy, so I wasn't playing a ton. I mean, it's tough when the top six were all like NHL draft picks. So I knew I probably was going to crack that. But I was just happy to be a part of it. Like I said, I was having fun. It was great guys, and that really brought back my passion for hockey because my last couple of years at UMass were tough, kind of being in and out of the lineup. So to be a part of that team, and the coaches put some faith in me, and yeah, it was great. I loved everything about Northeastern.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and you said you got to play in the Bean Pot. Tell me about that. I mean, that's a huge deal there in Massachusetts. I mean,
yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's right up there with like the Bees playing in the Stanley Cup. The people there, obviously, it's Northeastern, Boston University, Boston College, and Harvard. So you play a semifinal and then a final. I actually scored in the final. That'll probably be my claim to fame for the rest of my life. My parents were there. My girlfriend at the time, who is now my fiance, was there. So yeah, it was incredible. 20,000 people, TD Garden. Yeah, something I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's got to be great. I mean, coming out on the ice. I mean, with a crowd that big. I mean, UMass doesn't bring small crowds or anything. I know that. And you said,
right.
but I mean, you're playing at the Garden, man.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's one of those things that like I grew up even watching it, and like they televise it at home in Canada. So like I grew up watching it, and then even when I was at UMass, like you watch it at school, and then to be a part of it, yeah, just the whole experience. Like you get a police escort from the Northeastern campus right into the Garden, right underneath. You get out, and it's just, yeah, it's an incredible experience. It's definitely something I'll never forget. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. What'd you study whenever you were going to college? What was your major?
So I did my undergrad in sports management. at Umass. They had a really good business school there. So I graduated with a sports management degree. And then at Northeastern, I did a digital marketing
Nice.
grad degree. So pretty much the study of like social media. That's like the end goal when I'm done playing is to like do kind of social media marketing for a professional team. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
definitely. Now you're running for what I want to do. I mean, that's my goal.
There you go. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in front of the camera. I like being behind it. So
yeah. No, trust me, I don't like it either. That's why I always bring guests on.
There you go.
So I try to veer away from me, but
Right.
but no, that's great. So after college was all said and done, and you obviously still wanted to play hockey because I mean, here you are playing. I mean, what options were out there for you at the time?
So it was tough. I mean, once I was done college, I wasn't totally sure. I knew I wanted to keep playing. I had my fiance at the time with me and she didn't want to move anywhere too far. And that relationship is obviously very important to me. So I ended up trying to play in Adirondack in the coast because that was close to Boston where she's from, and not too far away. And that didn't end up working out. So I ended up here in Evansville just kind of as a tryout thing, like, hey, I'll go there for a week or two, maybe see what happens. Hopefully get called back up to the coast somewhere close. And that didn't happen. And then just kind of worked out where she didn't like her job. And she's like, what if I just move there with you? And I said, that would be great. So we kind of just settled here and we've been here for a couple of years now and we love it. So, I mean, it worked out great. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to play. I was ready to kind of get to work and use my degrees, but I'm glad I pushed that off for a couple more years and got to play a couple years of professional. So.
Yeah, definitely. So Evansville fans, you need to remember that. You need to thank his fiance for him sticking around because it may not have ever happened.
Yeah, no, definitely fortunate to have her around. She's great. And I mean, even after she moved here and then the COVID year happened and Evansville didn't play, she even went with me to Knoxville, got a job there and then came back to Evansville with me. So she's definitely a keeper, definitely fortunate to have her in my life.
Yeah, Knoxville's not a bad spot to go hang out at for a winter either.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Yeah, we enjoyed ourselves there, but we're happy to be back in Evansville. She's got a great job. Obviously, I got a good setup here in Evansville, so we're happy to be back.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about your first year in Evansville. I mean, I kind of when I brought you in, I talked about everything that happened that year. I mean, that it just seems like everything that could go right went right for you that year. I mean,
that's the perfect way to kind of describe it. I first got here and I didn't know anything about the league, and not that I thought I was too good for it. I just like didn't know where the heck I was. Like I was in Evansville, and then the next day I think we played in Quad, and I was like, where am I even? Like I don't know what I'm doing. And then like after a week or two, and kind of got comfortable, made some friends, obviously, and then we just kind of started winning. And like any hockey fan will know, sometimes you can't really explain why. I mean, obviously we got a good coach, we had good players, but sometimes everything just goes right, and it was like that for the team. It was like that for me and my line mates. It was actually a line mate that I played with in Langley when we were 17, who I ended up being back with here in Evansville, and we just clicked. We just hit it off. And like I said, everything I gave to him, he would score, and everything he gave to me, I would score. And, I wish it would get back to that this year. It's been a little tougher this year, but definitely a special year, special group of guys. We still have a group chat with that core group of guys, probably 10, 12 guys that we talk in pretty much every day. So we always talk about how unfortunate it was that season got canceled because we were hot when they thought we had the team to win it all. So that was definitely a group of guys I'll always remember.
Yeah, it was tough seeing that season come to an end. I mean, there's so many what ifs left out there for so many people, and I mean, it is what it is, though. You can't control all this other crap that's been going on. It's just now we just need it to go completely away, so we don't have to hear about that crap anymore.
Oh, definitely, yeah. No, it was tough, and that was kind of my big recruiting pitch this summer when I was trying to get some of those guys back, because obviously some of them moved back home, got jobs, that kind of stuff, and I was just like, come on, man. Like, we would have won that year. Like, come on, let's come back, give it one more kick of the can. Let's see what we can do. And it worked on most of them. A couple we wish we got back, but you can't really blame the guys that picked up good jobs and are starting real world stuff. So I'm going to be there soon, I think.
Yeah. It's a time to grow up. Is that what it's called? So
yeah.
No, don't do it.
Not quite there yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. Don't do it. It's not that fun. So last year, we'll talk about last year. I mean, did you going in, like you said, a lot of guys didn't play, and there was, most of the league didn't play. I mean, were you trying to come back to the SB the whole time? Was that your plan, and you looking for somewhere, or what were your outlook?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, for me, a big part of my life is with my fiance, and we have 2 dogs as well. So having that security is big for me. And Knoxville was a place that I knew I would be at for a year, and they helped her get a job and all that kind of stuff. And they were cool with my dogs. So obviously going to the coast and risking or trying to play for 4 or 5 teams in a year would have been a tough thing to do. And like I said, I kind of like knowing that I have a spot to be for the whole year. I don't really care too much as far as playing in the coast or whatever it might be. I just like playing.
Yeah.
Knoxville is obviously a cool city. They're a good team, and that turned out to be an incredible group of guys too. Obviously things didn't go the way we wanted at the end of the year, but no, I enjoyed it there. Obviously, like I said, Knoxville is a pretty cool city, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about that. I mean, when Raudebusch was just playing insane, crazy hockey at one point, and it was just ridiculous. What's that like for you guys up there when you got a goalie back there that is basically going to stop everything that comes his way?
Yeah, it was incredible. I'd never actually really experienced anything like that in my life, or my hockey career at least, where we went into games and it was we just knew we were going to win. It felt like that. It didn't matter what, we were going to win. That was it.
Yeah.
Obviously he was a big part of that. And we still stay in touch all the time. He was my roommate for the month he was there before I went up to the coast. But yeah, so what I was saying, when you got a goalie back there that's playing like that, you pretty much feel invincible. And I think we won 10 in a row that year, or 11 maybe. It was a pretty wild run.
Yeah, something like that. I know he got player of the week 3 weeks in a row, and
he did real well.
You for you and the guys up front. I mean, do you guys feel a little? Do you start trying to get a little fancy, maybe knowing that if you make a mistake, that it's okay, or are you still kind of just trying to play your game the way you always have?
Yes and no. I mean, I guess it's always in the back of your mind. I can't say I've always been the most defensive focused guy. Obviously I got to keep an eye on it. But I obviously like to play offense. But it's one of those things where it's if you happen to make a turnover at the blue line, they go 2-on-1 the other way, you're he's got it. We'll pick it up. We'll pick it up and go back the other way and score. So
yeah.
Maybe
he'll chip it up into the neutral zone, and then we'll have a breakaway.
Exactly. Yeah. Just hey, we don't have to back check. He'll get it and throw it up to us. We'll be all right. So
yeah. That's good. That's got to be great. Great. Yeah. So, but like you said, I mean, that season didn't end. It didn't end so good. But yeah, all in all, that was a great year. And then, I mean, jumping into this season, coming back to Evansville, you had to be pretty excited. I mean, it's kind of like you're home away from home from the sounds of it. So
yeah, exactly.
So and you guys started the season off pretty dang good, and then things, I don't know, things just kind of, I don't know. I guess you know better than me. It just seems like the wins weren't coming as frequently as they did right off the bat.
Yeah, but, it was tough for sure. I mean, we lost a couple of good guys to the coast to call-ups, which is inevitable in the SPHL. So something you just kind of have to deal with. I don't know. I think any hockey player, any hockey team knows that you just kind of go through those stretches where things just aren't clicking. And I mean, even for me personally, things that where I was used to going in or plays that I used to making just seem to be taking a fluky bounce or something silly, hitting the post. I don't know if I've ever hit so many posts in my life in a 10-game stretch, but one of those things where, like I said, any hockey player knows, every team goes through it where sometimes things just don't go right. You just got to keep working hard. And I mean, we were playing well. I think we were out shooting teams and, like I said, hitting posts and just goofy stuff was happening. And like I said, I think we've kind of picked that back up, and a credit to our team working through it. And the last couple weeks here, we've been doing a lot better. So.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like things are starting to kind of get back right on track there, and looking good. And the good thing is I mean, you look at the standings in the league right now, and I don't know if you pay attention to any of that really, but I mean, the standings really from 3rd to 8th is 4 to 6 points. I mean, just a couple of games.
Yeah, no, we're definitely aware of that. We keep an eye on it. I mean, obviously, we try to focus on just the next game coming up, but we know where we stand. And the guys that were here our first year, we just tell them that I think our first year we might have been 1-10 to start the year. We stunk, and then we just turned it around and just went on this run. And I think our group is getting close to that. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time for a dressing room to develop and that chemistry and all that. And you got to kind of bring in some different guys to kind of get that chemistry right. And I think we're getting there. And like I said, the results have shown the past couple weeks here. And even in the games we've lost, we felt like we've played well enough to win. Sometimes it's just how hockey goes. So like I said, just got to stay positive and keep working. And we know we have the team to do it. Obviously, our team this year is a little younger. So that's always something. But they're mature guys. They're good players. They're professionals. So we'll keep working, keep getting better.
Yeah, definitely. So I just lost my train of thought. That's why I'm never going to make it big. Oh, I got it back. So so you're talking about call-ups. What is that? What's that do to like team chemistry? I mean, it's happening to every team in the league. I mean, when you guys get things going, you got this chemistry going, and then all of a sudden, boom, your guy's gone. So lines are changing and this and
Right.
that. Does that really kind of just change everything, or is it not impact as bad as I think in my mind it does?
It does. Like I said, obviously, I think I lost both my line mates in 2 weeks. So that's obviously tough when you're bringing in new guys in the locker room, new guys in the lineup, learning the systems, how we play, all those type of things. But like I said, I've been here for 3 years now, so I'm kind of accustomed to it. And you just you get used to it. It is what it is. Like the game's going to go on Friday night, no matter what. So you just got to go out there and do the best you can. But I think some of the younger guys maybe don't get it as much, but I think as they mature, you'll just start to realize, hey, like guys are going to get called up, guys are going to get hurt, guys are going to get cut, traded, whatever it might be. I mean, it's the SPHL, and then that's kind of the way it is, and you just got to learn. So obviously, you try to adjust on the fly and try and bring guys in. And obviously, being a leader this year, I try to grab the whiteboard and show guys, hey, little X's and O's, but for the most part, you just tell them to go out and play, and usually that works.
Yeah. I mean, that's you got to focus on what you can do, not what you can't control, right? So,
exactly. Yeah. No, that's a perfect way to put it. Yeah.
But so let's talk a little bit about. I mean, I don't know how much do you value? Like I rolled off all the things that happened your rookie season. I mean, how much do you value accomplishments and I guess awards like that? All-Star team, Rookie of the Year, MVP, all that. What do those kind of things mean to you? Is it?
I mean, obviously it's great. Obviously it's something I'm proud of. I worked very hard to get there and worked very hard that year and that summer. But to be honest with you, the only thing I think about from that year is the fact that we didn't get to finish it as a team. Like I said, the individual stuff's great. Obviously maybe something when I'm 50, 60-year-old, kick back in my recliner drinking beers, I can be like, oh, yeah, back when I was young. But,
Yeah.
But right now, honestly, all I think about is the fact that group of guys, we just didn't get to finish that year. Which is tough, but it's also great because, like I said, they're some of my best buddies that I still talk to all the time. So no matter what, they'll always be some of my best friends. But yeah, definitely wish we could finish it out.
Did that year not being able to finish it because of COVID suck worse than last year losing out in the playoffs with Knoxville?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Obviously, like I said, it's tough because both groups of guys were great. But like I said, Evansville, for whatever reason, I can't really explain it. But like you said, you said it the best way. It's kind of become my home away from home. And that group of guys, and that being my first year, and the way that the team kind of treated me and bringing my fiance here and all that, like it was so great. And I wanted to win for that organization and for the city. So yeah, that definitely hurt. And the fact that it was out of our control definitely hurt because, I mean, obviously the Knoxville year we lost and I got to play those games and obviously could have done more, but the COVID year like had nothing to do with us and just kind of felt like it was ripped away from us. And that was tough. That'll definitely weigh on me for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of the way I would feel. I think I would feel too. I mean, you couldn't control it; it was taken from you, as opposed to I was a part of it. So yeah.
No, it's tough. And like I said, obviously, there's a lot of people going through a lot worse in the world than us not getting to play hockey. And I get that. My fiance's and through all of it, how tough it all was. So I got why we didn't get to play, but definitely still hurt that it got just taken from us like that.
Yeah. So let's so tell me about Austin Plevy off the ice. What do you do when you're not playing hockey?
I'm a pretty big gamer. That's kind of probably one of my guilty pleasures. I like to play my Xbox. But like I said, I got 2 dogs at home as well, so they take up a lot of my time. I went to school for the marketing stuff, so I'm trying to stay on top of that, like content stuff. I actually help out a company called Everything College Hockey. It's a podcast / brand that just covers college hockey.
Okay.
So I kind of help out with those guys, making some videos and some content and stuff like that. So that's been great to stay involved with hockey, college hockey, and kind of working on something real life. So that's been fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if I happen to get some time, the dogs aren't driving me nuts, then hop on the Xbox, maybe hop on the computer, do some videos. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing too crazy.
What are your games? You Call of Duty, Fortnite guy, or are you a Madden guy?
No, actually, I hate sports games, to be honest with you. I get enough sports in my everyday that I just want to get away from it. But no, definitely Call of Duty guy lately. I was definitely a Fortnite guy in its prime. But the last, probably a year and a half, I've been a pretty strict Call of Duty guy.
Yeah, I couldn't play that game to save my life. You could put a gun to my head, and I couldn't do it. I'm so bad, so bad.
I've logged some serious hours.
But so your off seasons, do you spend them back up in Langley? Is that where you go back to, or where are you at? Because you said your fiance's from
weird. My fiance, she's from Mass. So we spent a couple summers there, but the last 2 years I've been here because of COVID and the border situation. So that's been tough. So I've just been on my own here with her. But usually I would go home for like a month or so, a couple weeks, or she could come with me, and then we'd go back to where she lives in Mass. But yeah, the last couple of years we've just stayed in Evansville. We got a good setup here. She has a good job. I obviously have a good setup here with our apartment and all that stuff. So that's typically where I stay. And then our team gym here is great. So I get my workouts in, and our practice rink. So I do everything I need to do here.
Yeah, you guys got a pretty good state-of-the-art facility and everything going on there in Evansville. I mean, it's pretty nice stuff going on there.
Yeah, no, the rink is, I would biasly say the rink is probably the best in the SP. It's a great place to play. And especially when we're winning and we get the fans, it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think I got much else for you, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you wanted to add? You want to give anybody a shout out? You got any side hustles you got going on that you need promoted?
No, I would just say the Everything College Hockey. Any listeners, if you're a fan of hockey, I assume you're a fan of college hockey. We do everything. They travel, they go to the schools, they take their own content in locker rooms. We try to repost the best highlights, videos, goals. Anything you think of college hockey, we're trying to stay on top of it. So if you're interested and you like college hockey, don't be afraid to give it a follow. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. We're everywhere. And there's a podcast as well. And the guys that do it are awesome. They're hilarious and just talking hockey, just like this. So it's great.
Yeah, except for probably better. This one isn't that good. But
I had a good time. This was great. I enjoyed it.
But no, it's good. Once you go off is when it goes south. So yeah, it's always good with a guest. But so yeah. Well, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on, man. And maybe we'll have to catch up and try to do it again later on this year, or some other time down the road. But until then, I mean, best of luck to you, and best of luck to the team the rest of the season. And I look forward to seeing you guys make things happen.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Hopefully the rest of the year goes, we keep winning, keep getting better.
So we're not going to try to overshadow that with anything. He like I said, his rookie year, he was all over the place, playing great. So let's move on. I do get another interview for you guys. I got the All-Star fan vote winner, forward, the guy who came out of nowhere and won it, and we'll get to that here after a little bit. And that was Houston Wilson of the Vermilion County Bobcats. But let's talk a little bit about the league real quick. Let's go through some of the games. This was a week that started on Tuesday, and there was games spread out all throughout the week, and there was some good hockey. It seems like the further we're getting into the season here, the better the games are getting, the closer the games are getting. The teams that we all well, not we all, because I you know me, I try not to say anybody sucks. Last time I did it, they put up 6 goals against the Bulls. So I don't think anybody sucks. And the teams are just really starting to come together, and even with the call-ups, they're starting to learn how to deal with all that. And just we're starting to see some really quality hockey, and with the playoff push getting, we're halfway through the season. April is when the season's over, and as I record this is the last day of January, and I mean the teams know what's coming. And as you heard Plevy talk about there, they're starting to come together, and they and he feels like they're gonna make a push, and I don't see why they can't. It's gonna make for an exciting run here down the final stretch of the season. But let's start out with Tuesday night last week. You had the Evansville Thunderbolts. They traveled up to Peoria and they played, and it was a close first period. It was 2-1 in the first period, and then after that, it just kind of fell apart for Evansville. They ended up dropping that one 5-2, and Peoria just keeps on rolling. Alec Hagman once again getting more points. I'm going to have that man on the podcast before too long, and I know a lot of people around the league don't care for him, but you got to respect the talent. I mean, he's out there making it happen, and Pensacola, you guys had him last year, and you can't tell me you didn't enjoy it at all. So I mean, he's done really well this year. I mean, he's getting up there in points. He's coming closer and closer to trying to take that league lead in points away from Havoc players, and he's also up there in penalty minutes. So he's got a couple of things that he's leading the league in, but like I said, he got another goal in that one. Alec Bear scored a few goals, and it was just Peoria doing business as usual, and they handled Evansville pretty well in that game there. And so let me jump on to we had an off day on Wednesday, and then Thursday we got some more hockey going, and it was Roanoke and Macon. And if y'all remember, Macon gave up the most goals ever in an SPHL game just 1 week before that to Pensacola when they lost 13-4. And I was watching this game on Thursday night, and I'm sitting here thinking Roanoke might break a record that hasn't even existed for a full week. And Roanoke's score, they 3-1 coming out of the first period. Roanoke was handling business with the Mayhem, and I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, anybody can come back from a 2-goal lead. I mean, you see it happen all the time in all levels of hockey. But the second period, the bottom fell out for Macon, and Roanoke scored 6 goals. Let me run through a list here. How many people got goals in this game? Well, let me go to the third period too. Roanoke added one more, but that was where it ended. 10-1 was the final score. But Mac Jansen got a pair of goals. Matt O'Day got a pair of goals. Hepner got a goal. Stubbs had a pair of goals. And Hepner had 2 goals. And so they had 3 guys in that third period looking for their hat trick. And unfortunately, none of them got it. Fortunate for the Mayhem that nobody added one more goal. But I mean, that was just insane hockey. I mean, and Macon, they fell on rough times there, but they're all pros, and you know that they're going to be able to turn things around, and they did later on in the week, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But like I said, Roanoke they played some very good hockey there, and that was the last time they would catch a win on the week, and unfortunate for them, but fortunate for their opponents. But yeah, it was just a slaughter is what it was for Roanoke. Or for Macon, they never really were in that one, and they went 0 for 6 on the power play, and it was just, yeah, I think I said enough about that game. So we'll move on to Friday night. So Friday, Macon had another battle. This one they had with the Fayetteville Marksmen. They traveled up the road, or over the road, or down the road, or over to North Carolina. Let's put it that way. And they played the Fayetteville Marksmen, and Fayetteville got up on them 2-0 in the first period, and then the game was just kind of just back and forth. Nobody's scoring goals anymore. And then Fayetteville added one more goal in the third period, and Fayetteville shut out the Mayhem. And so the Mayhem had been outscored at that point 26-5 in their last 3 games. And that's rough. As a team, you got to be sitting there wondering, what the heck do we need to do to get better? And I mean, they were just, I don't know how to put it. It was just rough games. But I'm going to tell you, this Mayhem team never gave up. You never seen them out there when they were down, 10-1. You didn't see them stopping out there. They played. The team has heart. They pushed through, and I mean, eventually they'll get rewarded later on in this weekend if I'm looking into the future. of the weekend before that already passed. But yeah, Fayetteville handled business. Fayetteville is just quietly kind of moving around, hanging out there in the middle of the rankings and winning games. And Fayetteville won that one. And then another one we had was the Huntsville Havoc playing the Evansville Thunderbolts. The Havoc have kind of struggled as of late after just being a wagon to start the season off. Did they peak too soon? No, that's a silly thing to say. They had a lot of call-ups. They're missing a lot of guys just like everybody else, and they weren't going to go undefeated. They just weren't. Just like I told you guys earlier, Vermilion County was going to win a game. I said that earlier in the season. Well, Huntsville wasn't going to be able to maintain that. And as teams come together better, that's what happens. In Evansville, they did it. Plevy got a goal early in the first period. And then they just consistently scored. They went into the third period up 2-0. Huntsville did end up getting one, and it was just too late. They got about a little bit after midway in the third period, and they came. It was a 2-1 game at that point, and then with under a minute left to go, Adkins buried the empty netter, and that was game. So Huntsville dropped another one. Evansville picked one up, which is good for Evansville because the Bulls were looking like they were going to be breathing down their necks if Evansville was going to start losing some games, and it definitely didn't work out that way for the Bulls. They are not. Well, I don't know. They still might be breathing down their necks, but Evansville got a much needed win, turning things around. You know how I've been talking about how they've been struggling a little bit here and there. And then next up, we'll go to Vermilion County, where the Knoxville Ice Bears traveled, and it was actually a very good game. It was a scoreless first period. Vermilion County was doing everything they could. Knoxville was doing everything they could, and then Knoxville put 2 goals in the back of the net in the second period, and did it again in the third period, and they shut the Bobcats out 4-0. And the Bobcats' losing streak continues. Knoxville's winning streak continued. Knoxville just a freaking wagon right now. They're just playing unbelievable hockey. They're playing hockey the way that the Havoc were playing hockey to start the year out. So see, these streaks, they come in waves, different teams at different times. But Knoxville, they did what they needed to do there. Then Peoria and Quad City, who seems to play each other every week now. I feel like I say that. I used to say that about Roanoke and Fayetteville, and I said it about Huntsville and Pensacola. Now I'm going to say it about Peoria and Quad City. And it is never a dull moment when those two teams play. Peoria did get this one 4-2. They started it out the first period. They were up 2-0, and guess what? Alec Hageman, 2 goals. I mean, what can you say about the guy? He did end up getting a suspension over the weekend for 1 game, but I mean, what do you say? You can hate him all you want, but he's scoring goals, and he doesn't care if you hate him. He just doesn't. But so yeah, Quad City struggled on the power play in that one. They went 0-for-6 on the power play. They had a lot of chances, and they just couldn't make it happen. And I think special teams is probably what killed them in that one. But have no fear. They're going to be able to play each other again, and each team will get revenge. And then the last one I'm going to talk about on Friday night before we jump into the next interview on the show is going to be the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, the team I said was rolling. They just came off of scoring 10 goals against the Macon Mayhem, feeling good, playing the Birmingham Bulls in Pelham, Birmingham. A lot of you guys don't know the Bulls don't actually play in Birmingham. They play in Pelham, which is right outside of Birmingham. And that's just too much information I just kept leading into. Anyways, they went up there, and this was a pretty emotional night for the Bulls. I'm going to talk a little more about it because, well, I was there. You guys know I cover the Bulls, so I always got a little more information about the Bulls. But yeah, it was First Responders Night, and they also honored a fallen firefighter, Christopher Easter, who lost his life towards the end of December, and he was a big hockey fan, big Bulls fan. He started a group called the 10 Hate group, the Rowdy Bunch, and basically the 108 section was just a bunch of rowdy guys. He started that up, and he was an avid men's league hockey player. I wanted to say beer league. I don't know if that offends people, but I think it's the same thing. But he active in the hockey community. people around the rink knew him. Players knew him. I mean, it was a big deal. And the cool part about this was Mike Davis, captain of the Bulls. He wore the number 75, which was Easter's number in the men's league. And he also had Easter's name on the back of his jersey. And that was cool. I mean, the league allowed it. And I know that was probably a long, hard process for the Bulls to get to happen, but the league did allow it. And it was just cool to see. And Easter's wife and brother did the ceremonial puck drop. And that was just the beginning of a wonderful night. I mean, it was a great night. Both teams played really good hockey. And the first period, they were deadlocked 1-1. And Roanoke scored. The big giant defenseman scored. I mean, I'm always in awe when I see Armstrong on the ice. The man is just towering over everybody. But he scored, and then Carson Rose, the rookie phenom, he came in and scored one, and then second period, Roanoke added 2 more goals from O'Day and Hepner. And you were kind of feeling like, I don't know, maybe this isn't going to work, but I need to lead into this. Rose actually tied the game up in the second period. And you need to check out my Instagram and see the goal he scored, because it was pretty cool. I try to find these cool goals whenever I get them and try to put the videos up of every team, but it seems like I just fail of putting it up. And when I do realize that I should have put it up, it's too late. It's out of the news cycle. But it was a great individual effort. He came into the zone, bounced off the boards, shouldn't even have had the puck in his hand anymore. He grabbed the puck, skated up, scored. But went into the third period, and it was 3-2 Roanoke. And you just kind of felt like this game could go either way, really, even though Roanoke was winning. And then the newcomer to the Birmingham Bulls, and I'm going to screw his name up so bad, Papalardo. I don't know. Papalardo. He's the new guy in town. But he was all over the ice all night. He was looking, you just kind of felt like he was going to get it. Well, he tied the game up. And it was 13:31 mark of the third period is what the website says. Yes, I cheat. I have things up here. I don't memorize everything, guys. Give me a break. But so he tied it up. So we're thinking, late in the game, we're looking, we're going into overtime. And last time these two teams met in Pelham, it went into overtime. It went into the shootout. It was a hell of a game. There was goals were scored by everybody in that one. This one was a little bit tighter, not quite as many goals, but under 2 minutes left to play. Mike Davis and Carson Rose come skating in on a 2-on-1 breakaway, turned into a 2-on-2, and Davis could have passed over to Rose, but Davis seen his opening and went in and buried the puck. He evaded the poke check of Dill, the goaltender for Roanoke, and just buried the puck, and that place erupted. And it was an emotional moment for everybody out there, because he had that Easter jersey on, and it was a great moment. It was a great hockey moment. I don't care if you like the Bulls. I don't care if you like the Rail Yard Dogs. That was a great hockey moment. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you see written in movies. But it was great. It was great. After the game, all the players came out, took a picture with Christopher Easter's wife and brother on the ice, and it was just a great moment. The Bulls went on to win. It was very, very emotional night, and I was glad to say that I was there. I mean, that's one of those things that you don't always get an opportunity to be a part of something like that, or even be in the arena when something like that happens. And it was just a great moment. So, but that's enough. That's enough talking about this for you guys listening to me. I'm sure you want to listen to somebody else talk. And like I said, this is an extravaganza. I have 2 guests this week. So right now, let's move on to the interview I did with Houston Wilson. Amazing dude. Awesome dude. You guys voted him in as the number 1 forward on the SPHL All-Star team in the fan vote we did not too long ago. And since you guys did that, I figured, hell, you probably want to listen to him. So without further ado, let's send it over to Houston. My next guest is going to be the second Vermilion County Bobcat that's has graced our presence on this show. He's also the guy that won the SPHL All-Star Fan Vote, the most voted for forward. And I know a lot of people kind of wondered where that came from, but it was no secret. I seen Houston play. He is well deserving of it, and he's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he's been playing hockey forever, and big Philly fan of all Philly sports. And he switched teams early on in the season and went to Vermilion County, and he's really found his way down there. And without further ado, I mean, I'm going to bring him on before I just talk about him the whole time, and you guys don't get to hear him talk because I know you're not here for me. So without further ado, here's Houston Wilson. Houston, what's up, man?
Hey, James, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for coming on. I know you had a pretty busy weekend playing. You guys had 3 games, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
Friday,
the legs,
Saturday, the 3-3.
Yeah. How them legs feeling when you got up this morning?
Oh man, we skated a little bit today, so
yeah.
I guess it helped a little bit to get some of the soreness out, but yeah, I'm definitely resting the rest of the day.
Yeah, I hear you. What do you usually do whenever you're trying to recoup your body and revive yourself?
Well, for recovery, just trying to relax as much as I can, stay hydrated. Not do too much, stay off my feet, play video games, stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. What's your video game? What's your go-to?
A lot of guys are the shooting and the COD or Fortnite. I'm terrible. I'm garbage. So I stick to my sports games. I'm 2K, Madden, Shell, FIFA.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm absolutely horrible. I remember Call of Duty. This was probably, 6-7 years ago. I had a buddy that I was with, and he kept trying to get me to play Call of Duty, and I'm like, fine, man, I'll play it. Oh my God, was I bad at that game?
I'm terrible.
Yeah, I felt like I don't know if you ever watched The Office, but whenever Jim Halpert's playing it in there when he's with Andy and all that and in Stanford, and he's playing it like I'm that guy that's staring at the wall trying to jump with a grenade launcher. Yeah. that's me. So, but yeah, well, let's get into the hockey stuff. I think that's what we're really here to talk about. I don't know. I think people like to just hear you guys say whatever, So, first off, man, but congratulations on getting that top vote for the fan vote. I know there was a lot of Quad City guys and some Birmingham guys running that thing, and then all of a sudden on the last day, boom, there's Houston Wilson. I was like, nice. So,
yeah, no, I mean, I just want to first start off with that. Just give a shout out and say thank you. To everyone who voted for me. I was not expecting to win that. And, there's a lot of great players on that list that are having a lot of great seasons. So I was pretty fortunate. It was just a fan vote, but no, thanks again for everyone that, reached out to me, spread the vote along, just, wanting to see me up there in the top. So I'm glad that I ended up being one.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like I said, I was pretty excited to see it because I remember, whenever they started the season out down here in Birmingham, and I liked your game, but Birmingham was kind of a disaster to start the season out. So it was rough, and I imagine it was a tough job for Simchuk to try to decide, personnel changes and all that. But I think it worked out for you. I mean, you're leading the Vermilion County Bobcats in scoring right now, and kind of tell me about your experience since you've got to VC.
Yeah, well, I've loved it since I've been here in VC. I had a great time in Birmingham. I got nothing bad to say about my time there. Loved everyone in my time there. But yeah, in VC, fans have been great. I've loved the team. We have a great, atmosphere in the locker room. Coach Niedert's been great. Ellen, as our owner, has been fantastic. So, I got no real complaints here. And just, hopefully we can turn around here the second half of the season.
Yeah. Start stacking up those W's. That's why I keep telling everybody, give the Bobcats some time. I mean, hell, you guys have had, half your roster called up at any given moment too.
Right.
So
right. I mean, and that's been another, I guess, nice thing. We haven't seen the wins on the board, but we were getting guys called up. We're developing as players. So, just kind of as the Philly saying, trust the process, and hopefully, the second half will be around.
That's right. I think, but in Philly, people don't ever trust the process. It's
win now. We're not. We say it, but we're not very patient.
Yeah, no, and really, Philly fans get a bad rap, but that's every sports fan. I mean,
Yeah.
people, everybody's calling for Aaron Rodgers' head right now, saying he can't win in the playoffs. He's a choke artist, and I'm like, dude, this guy's like, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. How are you going to just give up on him? But
Right.
whatever.
That's how it goes,
Yeah. I don't think anybody ever said that about Gretzky, though. I mean, that's
no, probably not.
But let's jump back a little bit in time in your hockey career. So you grew up in Philly, obviously. We kind of covered that. So when did you get going playing in Philly or playing hockey?
Yeah, so well, I have a twin brother. My brother and I started playing hockey together when I want to say we started at 7 years old. So, and my family, we were not a hockey family before my brother and I, and my mom grew up in North Carolina, my dad in Virginia. They never played hockey. It's funny. My first hockey game ever was my dad's first hockey game. My mom's first hockey game ever. So
that's awesome.
I remember my dad telling me the story later, but he was like, just trying to tell me in the car. He's like, he had no idea how like lines and stuff worked in hockey and shifts and all that. And so he's telling me, my brother and I in the car, he's like, if you don't play that much, don't feel too bad. Like he didn't know that like you're only out there for a minute or so and you're coming off. So he thought, you might not play that much at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like we're getting out there rotating all the time as little kids. So
yeah, definitely. Hockey, it's a fast-paced sport. That's what a lot of people new to the game don't realize. They're like, well, what the hell? He's not even been out there that long. But your legs and your lungs are saying, yeah, I've been out here for a while now.
Right. So no, that was funny. But yeah, I grew up playing in Philly, my brother and I, and I played tier 2 growing up, and played on some pretty good teams, met a lot of great people. And I think that's really where my love for the game came because, like I said, my family never really played hockey. So it wasn't like, I saw examples of hockey in my, growing up before I started playing. So I think it was just, the people I met along the way and, playing the game itself. I loved playing the game, loved playing itself. And, all that just I kept wanting to play year after year after year. And, here I am.
Yeah, now look at you. What was it that made you and your brother decide? I mean, not coming from a hockey family, it's kind of different to see. You're like, hey, we're gonna go play hockey, mom and dad.
Right. Well, now that's actually another funny thing. So it kind of started out because my mom randomly saw either learn to skate or learn to play hockey for free sign on the side of the road, and she was like, all credit to her because. Like she didn't even know what hockey was, and she decided to sign my brother and I up. So
nice,
and like we've played almost ever since. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we started. We fell in love with the game, and it, I was so appreciative. Because hockey's really been a driving kind of force in my life. So I don't know where I would be doing right now if not for my mom signing me up and playing.
Yeah. That's awesome. Your brother's still playing too?
No, he's not playing anymore, but he played up through juniors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So what did he decide? He was going to play baseball or football or something? One of those other sports?
Before, but now he does a lot of roller hockey and stuff now. But
oh, nice. Yeah. That's about the only kind of hockey I was ever halfway decent at, so I can relate. But cool. So you ended up going and playing at Vermont Academy. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, that came about. I knew I wanted to play at a higher level. I was playing high school hockey along with travel hockey back in Philly, and I knew I wanted more competition. Hockey's obviously an expensive sport, and I got to go to Vermont Academy. I'm so thankful my parents were able to figure that out. But yeah, I knew I wanted to challenge myself, and I chose to move away from home and do that, and it turned out to be a great experience. I think I developed a lot as a player and as a person. That was my first time ever living away from home, and it was great. Vermont Academy did a lot for me personally, and I got so many friends still today from there, and I met people from all over the world. It was a great experience.
It's awesome. That's one thing that's special about hockey is you don't just meet, people around your neighborhood anymore. I mean, if you're really going to pursue it, you end up meeting people from all over the world, and you develop lifelong friendships with people. It's great. So that's great. So, I mean, what was it? How old were you whenever you were 16? Whenever you moved out?
Well, so I think it was just turned 17.
17.
And so I went out there, I repeated my sophomore year, and then sophomore, junior, senior, and then graduated. So
what was it like being a free man at 17? I mean,
yeah, it was I don't know, it was different. It was like I went out there. One of my buddies from Philly also moved out there with me.
Okay.
So I had a little slice of home, but I was always one that I like being independent. I like, let me move out here, see what it's like. I wanted to challenge myself in hockey as well. Yeah. So I wasn't too homesick, but no, it was nice to have people from home as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's where you and your brother kind of parted ways in the hockey path too.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah. Do you ever call him a quitter for that? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So after that, you went up and played with the Northeast Generals in the NAHL and also the East Coast Wizards. That's a pretty cool team name, East Coast Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards. No, I love my time with the Wizards. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know you just throughout your career, you obviously were just trying to find that next level, and you just kept going. So, I mean, did somebody from the Generals give you a call or the Wizards give you a call? Or
I was at a showcase in New Hampshire and just trying to get seen, doing my thing. And I think it was the coach of the Generals at the time was there, and he saw me playing, approached my dad, and we talked after the game, and I got an invite to Maine, I think it was Maine camp or something like that. And over the summer, went there, did well. The training camp and all that, made the team. That was actually their expansion year when they first came into the NAHL too. I played for a couple new expansion teams or second year teams as well.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Yeah, that must be my thing.
Yeah. So you missed your calling. You were supposed to be on the Kraken this year, not the Bobcats.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Dang. But yeah, no, I had a great time in Northeast, and then I ended up in with the East Coast Wizards. So I stayed in Massachusetts, all in that area. But no, I love my time there too. Freddie Meyer was the coach of that team, and no, we had a great time. He was a great coach, and again in that place, I met a lot of great people as well. So along with the Generals as well. So
yeah, tell me a little bit. You said you loved your time with the Wizards. I mean, you got to tell me a little bit about your time there. I mean, I'm seeing 30 games. You almost were a point per game player there. If elite prospects is right, sometimes they're wrong, and everybody always tells me their points are too low. I don't know.
Yeah, I might be missing a few there.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great time there. I just left Northeast and I was looking for a place to play. I didn't know if I wanted to go back home and play, but I talked to the coach and went there. I didn't know kind of how it was going to be, what the league was like, but no, it was a great experience. I moved into the hockey house we had, and I got my own room, which was cool because everyone else was sharing a room. But so I just walked into my own room. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but no, it was cool. It was I love my time in Massachusetts there. A lot of great people there. So
yeah, did those games draw pretty big crowds in with the Wizards? Were you getting? I mean, I'm not saying
huge crowds like
house.
Not really. I mean, we were playing in Bedford, Mass. Nice rink, but we didn't draw a ton. We decent amount, but nothing like we were drawing here in the SP.
Yeah, there's just so many options to pick from in the state of Massachusetts when it comes to hockey. I mean, really all over the Northeast.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so much. You could play in so many different places, and that's kind of my thing after leaving the Generals. Like, where do I want to play? Like, do I go home? Do I look for an opportunity around here? You know, there's so many ways that you could go. So no, it definitely was a good option for me, and I'm glad I ended up there.
Well, that's good. That's good. And then after that, you decided you were going to go be a college boy, and you ended up in Stevenson. Did they recruit you at all, or did you?
Yeah. So
did they?
actually, Coach Dawes at Stevenson, he's a Vermont Academy graduate as well.
Okay.
And he saw me playing at Stevenson, and I also sort of had a relationship with him before I'd gone to a couple of skates in the summer around the Philly area when he was coaching Newman.
Okay.
So I had that relationship with him, and then during that year with the Wizards, I chose to go to Stevenson because I wanted to be closer to home as well. So Stevenson's in Maryland, and I was only about 2 hours away or so from home. Or I was in Massachusetts and Vermont. I'm 6, 7, 8 hours away from home.
Yeah, definitely a little bit closer. And the family, it's probably easier for the family to come and watch it when you're a little closer too, huh?
Yeah, and then that was kind of part of it. I remember just wanting to. My parents would always want to come to games. Now, when I was in college, like they would be at every game, every home game. So it was nice to have them there compared to when I was living so far away from home. They only get to come see me a couple times a year. So that was important to me to move back home. And my grandmother, before she passed away, she was able to come see me play a couple games with Stevenson. So
awesome.
I'm glad I had that experience, and she had that experience to see me play.
That's great. And she was probably another person that had no idea what hockey was until you and your brother decided that.
So my brother, it's so hard to follow the puck. I'm like,
so try chasing it around.
Yeah, I'm chasing it around and stuff.
So Stevenson, did you cross paths with Mike Davis, or was he a little before you?
Yes. So Mike was a senior when I was a freshman. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe that might have been there because I know you said Newman University too, and I know that's where he started, and then he went to Stevenson following the coach, and similar to you, like you're saying. So that's cool. I mean, that must be a pretty good school. I've talked to a few guys that have played there, and I've never heard anybody be like, "Oh, that's my time sucked there. The coach was a dick," and blah blah blah.
No, it's definitely a very good school. I got my degree in business communication, so I was taught well. On the hockey side, it's good hockey in that league, the UCHC, and we were a great team, and we were coached well as well. So definitely, prepared me for this next level.
Yeah, definitely. Your last year there, was that a year that was cut short from COVID? Was
that? Well, we had a decent amount of season, but we had I'm thankful we had more than most teams. Some teams didn't even play. A lot of teams didn't play, but we got to play a decent amount of games. About maybe half a season worth.
I got you. So then, once you were done with Stevenson, I mean, you said you got your degree in business communication, which is an awesome degree. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity out there to go and use that. But you decided you're going to stay the path of hockey. Was that an easy decision for you to make, or did it take you some time to decide?
I think it was. I was thinking about it, but I knew I loved the game. I knew at least I wanted to stay involved. So, I wanted to also build a resume. So I knew I at least wanted to try out pro hockey and see, how I'd fare.
Yeah, definitely. And you ended up getting signed by the Delaware Thunder in the SPHL. Was it straight out of college or?
So yeah, it was after my season ended there. They weren't playing last year, so I knew I wanted to play somewhere this year. So I signed there. I wanted to, I didn't really know, what doors to go through, So
yeah.
I thought that would be at least get my foot in the door somehow. So I signed there, but it never ended up there. Got the opportunity with Birmingham. Actually, Mike Davis was the one that first talked to me about that.
Okay.
He gave me a call. He's like, "Hey, buddy, would you be interested in skating with us down here in Alabama and coming to camp?" And I was absolutely. That was my goal, just to try and break into the SB at some point in the year, and to get the opportunity to start there, it was great. So shout out to Mike for putting me on with that, and then obviously Coach Simchuk for inviting me down.
Yeah, definitely. So you knew about the SP? Did you know about it through in Stevenson, or did you know about it before that?
Yeah, so before Stevenson, and I didn't really know about it, but we had a couple players between my freshman and junior year that a couple guys that come down to play in the SP.
I gotcha. What were your expectations whenever you came down south in hockey? What were you thinking hockey in Birmingham, Alabama was going to be like? I mean, you've been playing up north where hockey's a big thing. And I mean, and I'm not saying it's not down here. I mean, the Bulls, the Havoc, they all got huge followings. So, I mean, but what was your expectation whenever you came down?
Well, that was my thing. I was like, I don't really know what to expect. Like, I'm just doing some research, looking up games and stuff. Yeah, I knew it'd just be a fast game, obviously physical. Yeah, I was just like, whatever it's like, I just want to make sure I'm ready for it and can adjust to it if I'm behind a little bit.
Yeah, you don't care what it was, you just want to be a part of it. I understand
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's all right. And then, yeah, that's cool. So, you played. Let's see, I got to get my stats right. So you played 8 games and in Birmingham, and then cut ties with the Bulls and headed up to Vermilion County. What you were waived, right, or were you traded?
I was waived.
I was gonna say there's been so many dang trades this year, and I don't want to get things wrong, and I should have went back and prepared better and looked at that, but I had a feel. I guess I knew you were, but I had right now. I just didn't want to say it wrong. But so, anyways, before I make myself look like any more of an ass, so so when Vermilion County picked you up, I mean, were you like immediately after you got waived? Was Vermilion in contact with you?
It was about a couple days, but then not too long, probably 3-4 days, and Coach Nieder called me. I remember he just said, just because it doesn't work out in one place doesn't mean that it won't work, or it won't work in another place. And when he said that, I took that to heart, and I was excited to have my opportunity with Vermilion, and especially having Coach Nieder say that, someone who's been around for forever, it seems like, and with a great career, and for him to say, because all the spots he's been, so he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Definitely. And I mean, that's true. I mean, that's true at every level of the game, really professional sports in general. I mean, sometimes there's not a good fit in places. And obviously, I mean, it's been a good fit. I mean, what, you got 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in 19 games. I mean, those are pretty damn good numbers. Dang good numbers. I got to watch my mouth on this thing.
There is.
But I mean, it seems like what do you just feel a little more confident skating up there? I mean,
definitely. I think I'm definitely more confident. Obviously, more games in the league, more times in the league, and just coming here and having the opportunity to do what I can do and show what I can do, and I think that's all part of it. And I'm kind of I'm comfortable here, so it's nice.
Yeah, definitely. What's it like playing for Coach Nieder? I mean, he's pretty much a minor league hockey legend in his own right. So, I mean, what's it like playing for a guy like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely different than any coach I've had before, but in a good way. He's always talking to the team. He's engaging with the players, so you feel welcome on the team. You feel a part of the team. He's not just trying to be the coach and not associate with the players. We're all together. It's like a big family, and whenever he talks, we're listening. So he's a
I mean, you have to, right? I mean, it's just, I mean, it just seems to me like a guy like that is just going to spew nothing but knowledge out all the time, right. and I'd be standing there with a notepad writing things down, like, hey, really? Can you?
I mean, even if it's not hockey related, you can definitely you'll get something from what he's talking about.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, it was kind of almost a disaster with coaching in Vermilion County even before you got there. I mean, there wasn't a coach to start the season. I mean, things were just kind of falling apart there, and him coming it just has to have been a blessing for that whole franchise, man. I mean,
no doubt, he definitely adds some great stability, and his presence, his resume, it all speaks for itself.
Yeah. Did he say anything about you winning the fan vote?
Oh yeah, he's on me about it all the time.
Yeah.
He's always, I'm joking with him. I'm just like, hey, I'm just a man of the people. What can I say? And he's always,
yeah. And he's like, shut up, now go out there and score some goals.
Yeah, he jokes me pretty good about it.
That's great. Yeah, I imagine. And what about the other guys on the team? I mean, you told me that your teammate was actually a previous podcast guest, Igor Borshev. I mean, how
my roommate as well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Roommate. That's did I say teammate? Your roommate, I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, so roommate / teammate.
Right.
But I mean, does he give you a hard time about being a man of the people?
Yeah, a little bit, but there's some Igor Borshev jerseys I've seen around the rink, so he's pretty popular out here too.
Yeah, I mean he's a Russian guy. He's got that advantage. People love guys from other countries whenever they come and play here. I mean, but no, he's a great dude. I'm gonna take anything away from him.
I love Igor, George.
So I want to talk about this, and I try to get guys, and you can not answer it if you want to, but usually when I talk to a guy that gets to play against his former team, I kind of want to get your input. What was that like whenever Birmingham came to town that first time, and you were facing off against your old teammates, and what was that like to you? I mean, how'd you feel coming into it?
I was really excited. I mean, that was only my, I want to say, fourth and fifth, or fifth and sixth games here in Vermillion. So I was still pretty new here, and I was excited to show what I could do. You want to, every time you're playing in like an old team, you want to say, without any disrespect, but this is what I can do. I hope you can see that, and you're missing out on it. But no, it was great. We split the weekend. But it was great to just see all those guys and make great relationships there. I love my time there, and it was two tough games, and 1-1. But
yeah, you scored in one of them games, didn't you?
No, not that weekend.
No, I thought you got a goal in one of those games.
I wanted to so bad, man.
Yeah,
I wanted to so bad. I'll tell you, but no, I'm not that time.
Yeah. So I mean, I know I talk to guys a lot, and they always tell me that they got these friendships with everybody, but no friends on the ice. I mean, is that similar out there? I mean, you're going to stuff them into the boards.
Oh, right. Like we're talking to each other before the game, but once that puck's dropped and it's time to go, it's all business. But then after the game, we could be taking each other's heads off, but. I'll say what's up to my buddies and wish them best of luck, in the future after. So
yeah, isn't it? It's the craziest sport in the world. You guys can literally beat the crap out of each other, and then afterward, you're like, "Hey, you want to go grab a beer or something?" I mean, so it's great. It's right great. There. Yeah, and so that's why I try to tell everybody it's the greatest sport in the world. I mean,
absolutely.
It's just, I don't know. There's just something about it, and I'm glad that you were able to find it whenever you were at a young age. So and jump into it. So I need to thank your parents for that too. So,
shout out Mom and Dad. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Have they been able to come to VC and watch you play at all?
Not yet.
No. You're making all that money. You got to give them a ticket now. I'm just kidding.
I'll have to maybe save a couple paychecks, but
yeah, that's right. And nothing's cheap anymore. So nothing's cheap except for the paychecks we all receive. That's the cheap thing. So, but I'm gonna get you in trouble talking about all this. Never mind. So,
I love what I'm doing.
Yeah. So listen, tell me a little bit about you. What do you do outside of the game? I mean, what other interests do you got?
I'm a pretty chill person. I try and hang out with my teammates. I think it's important to create relationships with as many people as you can on your team. Whether you don't have to be best friends, but I think it's important to just have a relationship with everyone on the team, and it's only going to make you better, your teammates better. When you go to battle with each other, you'll have each other's back, and so I just try and I definitely like my downtime and just hanging out, playing video games, whatnot, watching TV, whatever. But I also, I want to make time to spend with my teammates and get to know them as well.
Yeah, definitely. What TV? What kind of TV are you watching? You watching comedies? You watching action? What do you got going on there?
Kind of whatever will be on, kind of whatever I'm feeling at the moment. I'll throw some movies on. I like action. I'm a big action guy. Comedies, all that stuff. Not a horror guy though. No.
No, I see.
Mm-mm.
No, it's just not your thing.
That is not me.
I feel like maybe when you were younger you watched Chucky or something and it traumatized you for life. Or
I'm like, wow, I can't watch this stuff anymore.
Yeah. There's not really any good horror movies coming out anymore anyway, so you're not missing anything. But yeah, you wouldn't even go if they were. Yeah, I got you.
I'll take the mark. I'm like, dang, that was crazy.
That's right. But tell me a little bit about Danville. What's the hot spot that you guys like to go hang out with? I know I see on the socials there's like a breakfast spot you guys are going to.
Shout out Gilbert's. We're always going to Gilbert's. That's a nice diner we're always going to. But Snappers, it's a little golf course kind of bar across the street from our apartment. So we're always hanging out there, grabbing food, grabbing a drink there. So
nice. That's perfect. Walking distance. You can't beat that.
It's nice. It's definitely nice. I mean, it's pretty cold out too now here in Danville. So it's nice we're not having to travel too far.
Yeah, and you can't be playing golf right now. What's the temperature there right now?
It's I think the other day it was like 9 degrees or something, and I think it's supposed to snow big time this week too. So we're in for
it's freaking 60 degrees here today in Alabama. So
oh man.
Like being from up in Colorado originally. Some days I miss, like days like this in the end of January, I'm like 60. I actually miss, 30s. I don't want to drop much lower than that, but I kind of miss that.
Well, I'm playing in the SP. I thought this was supposed to be warm hockey weather.
That's right. Blame Ellen for buying a team too far north. She's supposed to buy one further south. But hell, man, that's pretty much it I got for you. Was there anything else? I mean, you got any shout outs, anything else you wanted to add to let the people know?
Like I said, shout out to everyone that voted me. I appreciate it. It was great to see that I was just included with all the, players having great seasons on that list. And hopefully, I live up to that the second half of the season and we do as a team as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. I know being a hockey player, especially playing 3-3, you got a really busy schedule, and I appreciate you taking a little bit of time here and coming on and speaking to the people. So they definitely don't tune into this podcast to hear me ramble on. It's all about you guys. So I appreciate it.
We'll have to blow up the pod. So thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
For having me, man.
Yeah, man, and I wish you and I wish the Bobcats the best of the luck throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, that was an awesome interview. Love Houston Wilson. He's a great guy. I got to watch him play a little bit down here in Birmingham. Get to watch him play in Vermilion County now. Just a great guy, and he really found his groove once he got to playing in Vermilion County. And, we discussed it on the interview. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery. Sometimes things aren't going to happen. Sometimes a certain system's not going to work for you. And it looks like the Vermilion County system's working for him. And I really, truly feel like that team is going to start stringing together some wins. I mean, I guess I say this all the time, but I really do. I mean, they're starting to play together. You're starting to see a lot of stuff go the right way. They're in closer games now. I know I told you right before that interview that they got shut out, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. They're closer in games than you would think, despite the scoreboard. But anyways, let's finish talking about the league this weekend. We're going to move on to Saturday now, and a bunch more really good games. Pensacola and Fayetteville put on a heck of a weekend. And the first matchup between the two, Fayetteville pulled that one off 3-2. They went into the second period. They were up 1-0, and then Pensacola tied it up real quick, like 1:03 into the second. So we had ourselves a hockey game, which we had one before. I hate when people say that. Why did I just say that? I'm going to say it again probably, and I'm going to hate myself for it then too. But we had a good game. And then late in the second, why are words not working for me again? Is this going to be like that one from a few weeks ago? Late in the second, Fayetteville got another one, took the lead back. And then going into the third, Fayetteville got another goal, and they were up 3-1. Pensacola was able to add one more goal late at the 16:57 mark of the third, but it was just too little too late. Fayetteville got themselves another win on the weekend. Next up, Birmingham Bulls and Macon Mayhem. I know what you were thinking coming into this game. Macon, you guys have just let too many goals in. You're not going to win this game. This game was in Macon. Birmingham coming off a very emotional win. All kinds of good stuff you're thinking is going to happen. Birmingham goes in, and they score early. Mike Davis. He was the hero in the game just one night before. Gets a goal early on in the first, and then Papa Lardo, I don't know. I'm going to learn how to say his name before it's all said and done. I got to learn how to say a lot of guys' names. He got one. So, and then Macon also got a goal, and I'm going to screw that name up too. Drapeluk. Sorry, Mayhem fans. Sorry, players. I'm just going to start saying players scored a goal, because I am just not good with names. I need to get better. But anyways, 2-1 heading into the second. Macon decided, you know what, we're sick of this losing crap. We're not going to do it anymore. They threw 2 goals in the second period from Koch and Lambrick. Added another one in the third from Brink. Good night, Birmingham. Mayhem win 4-2. That was a good performance, a good bounce back performance by Macon. And they needed that win. They really needed that. That had to have been a huge confidence booster for them. So moving on again, Roanoke and Huntsville. Huntsville, like I said, they've been struggling a little bit lately. Roanoke coming off that loss the night before to the Bulls. And, Roanoke wants to get one. Really, really good first period. 2-2 in the first period. Anderson and O'Day got one for Roanoke. Nolan Kaiser, the Free Kaiser movement. If you didn't see it, you missed something great. You missed a lot. The Havoc social media was killing it with that. Made shirts. It was great. When he came back, it was great. They did a little video of The Rock being afraid of him coming out. It was awesome. Go back and look it up. It's still probably on all their socials. But scores 3 minutes, 23 seconds into his first game back. Welcome back to the ice, Nolan Kaiser. And that was it, 2-2. So we go into the third. I can't count. The Havoc had another. So now the Havoc are leading 3-2. Roanoke's like, no, we don't like this one bit. We just don't. So Chris Vela, third period, early on, 5 minutes in, ties the game back up. Piacentini a few minutes later, no thank you, sir. We liked our lead. We're going to take it right back. And that was the last time that the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs had any kind of lead in that game. Rob Dare added an empty netter in that one, and Roanoke lost their second in a row. Huntsville won their second in a row, I think. Man, I have a bad memory. I promise I don't do drugs. Moving right along, Peoria and Vermilion County. This was a closely contested battle, and at the same time, it kind of wasn't. Peoria won that one 4-0. But Peoria went 0-for-6 on the power play. That high-powered offense couldn't score on the power play. What's wrong with you guys? But yeah, Vermilion County gets shut out again. I feel like they get shut out a lot. And I was just saying that they're a good team, and I still stand by it. But anyways, that's how that one went. Hageman didn't get a goal. So what does that mean? He sucks now? Oh, shut up, people. He doesn't suck. Next up, Knoxville Ice Bears, Quad City Storm. Knoxville, mind you, at this point, new number one in the league. Huntsville has been number one since as far back as I can remember. Knoxville took number 1 over. What do they do their first game out as number 1? They lose to the Quad City Storm. You can't be doing that when you're number 1, Knoxville. You just can't. Don't worry, though. Don't worry. Knoxville will get it back. That comes later in the story. Quad City played a great game. They never gave up the lead in that game. They just played good. Balsamo was the only guy that was able to get goals for Knoxville in that one, and Quad City beat him 5-3. Knoxville had 7 power play chances in that game too. I don't know what's going on in Quad City. They're getting into a lot of penalty trouble lately. Maybe they have been all year long, and I just haven't paid attention. I know they've been getting all kinds of suspensions here recently too. But yeah, so Quad City, who has been struggling as they were number 2 in the league at one point. I was talking about them maybe getting ready to be to number 1. All of a sudden, they fell down to number 4. Great win for them, beating the Ice Bears. It's got to feel good in Quad City. So, moving on to Sunday, because this week of hockey just never ended. We had Fayetteville and Pensacola. And what did I tell you? Those two probably put on the best series of the weekend. Pensacola somehow always seems to be a part of a really good weekend series, but this one went to overtime. This one took extra time. It was 5-5 going into overtime. No shortage of goals. And Best got the best. See what I did there? Of the Ice Flyers. And he got that OT goal. Fayetteville wins that one 6-5. And that was just that was an explosion of goals in the first period. There was 3 goals on each side scored in the first period. They calmed things down and just were scoring 1 apiece in the rest of the periods. And Pensacola forgot to score in the overtime period. Oh wait, only one team can score. They didn't forget. They just didn't get it in time. But yeah, that was a great game. Great game. Overtime games are always fun. I feel like we always have overtime games in this league. So let's go back to Knoxville, who, mind you, back at number 2 in the league on Sunday because they lost to Quad City. So they were only sat at number 1 for a very short time. What do? They go into Quad City and they say, we liked being number 1. We didn't like losing to you guys. They win that one 4-2, reclaim the top spot in the league. It's a good game. Price got a goal, Waxen Ingback, Timofeyev, Balsamo. So Balsamo gets his 3rd of the weekend against the Quad City Storm. It's a good game. Quad City just didn't have what it took to get that one in there. Not to say that they played a bad game. And there's actually a really good write-up about that game. I think you guys should go check out on fieldpasshockey.com by my partner in crime, Anna Headley, who covers the Quad City Storm. There's some interesting quotes in there about what the referees told the coach of the Storm. I'm not going to tell you what it is because then you won't go read it. So go and read it, or don't, and you'll never know. But yeah, that's how that one went. Knoxville managed to reclaim that top spot. And then we're going to move on to the last game of the weekend, Peoria and Vermilion County. Peoria gets it 5-2. It was 2-2 in the first period, though. Vermilion County came out ready to play. They wanted this one. They wanted it. They wanted to win this game. But they just couldn't. Peoria's firepower proved to be too strong. Godbout, Pietrowski, Bear, and Bronson all scored goals. What, no Hageman again scoring goals? I guarantee you he got some assists. But yeah, that's how that weekend went. So let's do a quick rundown here of the standings. Actually, what I want to do, and I got to pull this up real quick. I want to tell you about the league leaders in the points. Okay. Nukovic leads the league in points with 49. Alec Hageman's got 48. And he is the only not Huntsville Havoc in the top 4. You got Mac Jansen in number 5. So you see, it used to be all a bunch of Havoc players up there, but Jansen's taking it up there. But the points are abundant with some of these guys, but really what I wanted to talk about was the goals. Jacob Barber sitting at 21, Alex Hageman 20. So, see, the guy just keeps scoring. He just keeps getting points. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You can hate him all you want, but I'm going to tell you he's a good hockey player. There may be some questionable things he does on the ice, but tell me you don't have a guy like that on your team that doesn't do questionable things. Everybody does. That's what happens in hockey. Everybody's got somebody out there that pisses the other team off. Your team is not a bunch of perfect angels. So that's all I had to say about that. I guess I'm on some kind of Hageman bandwagon right now, and probably going to piss a bunch of people off, but we'll get over it. So anyways, let's go to the standings. Knoxville, as I said, took over number 1 in the league. It's the first time we've seen somebody else in the top spot in a long time. If I was better at this, I would know exactly how long, but I'm not better at this. And then the Havoc, they're only 1 point back, so it's not like they fell too far. But here's the thing. Knoxville's got 2 games in hand. They've only played 33 so far. The Havoc have played 35, so that's another couple 4 points that they could possibly have above them. Next up in the standings, you got the Peoria Rivermen, who have just been kind of moving along. And, they've won their last 8 games. Yeah, that's what's happened in Peoria. They're on an 8-0 win streak. They are playing very good hockey. So, yeah, that's right. Fayetteville, 4th, 43 points, 3 back from Peoria. They are on a 4-game win streak. Fayetteville's making some moves. They're doing good. Remember when they were losing to Roanoke there? They kept losing a couple of games to them because that's all they ever played. I think they were just sick of Roanoke and they were just trying to get out of those games so they could go play somebody else in the league. No, that's not what they did. But anyways, good times. Marksman winning games. Quad City, who is also 43 points, sitting in 5th. They are 3-5-1-1 in their past 10. What happened in Quad City? They were the number 2 team in the league. I was talking them up, and now I can't talk them up anymore. Yeah, I could probably talk them up still. Still a good squad. And next up, you got the Rail Yard Dogs, who are on a 2-game losing streak. After putting up 10 goals, they didn't win another game this past week. That's got to be a bummer. They didn't use up all their goals on that because they scored goals in the other games. They just didn't score enough. You can't score them all in one game. You just can't. And then Pensacola. Pensacola is sitting in 7th, 35 points, sitting back 3 of the 6th place Rail Yard Dogs. They're on a little bit of a losing streak right now, too. They've lost their last 2, one of them in overtime, one of them in regulation. They're 4-4-1-1. And I didn't tell you Roanoke's 6-4-0. I don't think I needed to add those other 2 O's there because they were irrelevant. But anyways, that's where Pensacola's at. Pensacola, Roanoke, Quad City, they're all kind of just balancing their wins and losses out right now. Not really on hot streaks like we see, the Ice Bears, who won, 12 straight or 13 straight before they finally lost one. They're 8-1-0 in their last 10, or 8-1-1 in their last 10. Moving along in the standings, Evansville Thunderbolts, who have been trending down, I've mentioned, but they've had a decent weekend. They've got 1 win. They're 16-16 right now, 32 points in the standings. They are 3 back of the 7th place Ice Flyers. They are in that final playoff spot if the playoffs were to start today. They are 4-6 in their last 10. That's not what you want to be. You don't want to be 4-6. You got to be 500 or better. You want to be better. Everybody can't win them all. Next up, the Birmingham Bulls, who a lot of people are starting to take notice of. They're starting to finally win some games. They're 8-21 on the season, so they haven't won a whole lot of games. But in the month of January, they have done very well, and in their last 10, they're 5-5. They're on a 1-game losing streak. The Mayhem, who we talked about giving up a ton of goals recently, are also on a 1-game winning streak because that losing streak that started, is it a streak if it's 1 game? I don't think it is. That one loss Birmingham has came at the hands of the Macon Mayhem. Mayhem are 3-6-1 in their last 10. 14 points. They got a lot of ground to make up. I forgot to tell you, Birmingham's got 20. They're 12 back of the final playoff spot. A lot of work to do down this final stretch if you want to make the playoffs, Bulls. And the Mayhem, 14 points. A lot of work to do if you want to make the playoffs, boys. But sitting at the bottom of the standings, Vermilion County, 9 points. They got a whole lot of work to do to get back up there in the standings. They have lost their last 10 in a row. One of them they got a point out of, but ouch. That is rough. But that's it. That's it. Let's see. We had a suspension announced today. You guys probably already know about it. Most of the information I give you guys, you already know, and it's just meaningless, and that's why you tune out after the players come off. But we did have a couple suspensions drop today on Monday when I'm recording. Pensacola's Preston Kugler is going to sit out Friday against the Ice Flyer, or he's not playing against his own team, against the Mayhem for a game misconduct, unsportsmanlike conduct. I did not see it. Should have went back and watched it, but I'm going to tell you this has been a crazy day, and I'm sorry. But, yeah. Anyways, he's missing one. And then you got Tommy Tcios. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying that right. He's from Quad City, though. And this was the second suspension of the weekend. Or maybe it was Stang that had the other suspension earlier in the weekend. But anyways, he got 2 games. He was assessed a major penalty in a game misconduct for cross-checking. And it was a wicked cross-check, a wicked bad cross-check. I don't know. 2 games for cross-checking. Bad boy. But so he's going to miss against the game against Evansville and Peoria. But that's it. That's it. That's all I got for you. That is everything I have up to this point. I have you all up to date in all of the ongoings of the league. Make sure to give me a follow on Twitter. Oh, right there. That's where you follow me on Twitter if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're not watching it on YouTube because you don't want to stare at my ugly face, it's at FPH Bulls. I do my best to bring you all the information all around the league of everybody, not just the Bulls. Ignore me on game nights if the Bulls are playing because I'm going to fill your Twitter feed up with a bunch of Bulls stuff because I try to live tweet stuff during the game. But other than that, like the page, like this on YouTube. Leave me feedback. I keep asking you guys, leave me feedback. If it sucks, tell me it sucks. If it's good, don't tell me that. I'll get a big head. If you have a suggestion, if you think my questions I've been asking everybody suck, do me a favor. Be like, hey, James, I would like to know about the next guy coming on. This, blah, blah, blah. And who knows? Maybe it's going to be a good question. It's got to be better than the stuff I ask anyways. I'm probably going to ask it. One of the questions I asked Austin Plevy today was a question somebody else gave me because people are better than me at this. But yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm done. I have been blabbing on nonstop. So until next time.
You've been listening to the Inside the SPHL podcast. Got a topic you'd like discussed? Follow James on Twitter at FPH Bulls. For the latest news on the SPHL and the rest of minor league hockey, download the Field Pass Hockey app, now available in the Apple and Android app stores.